What is up, AFC North football fans, and welcome into another edition of the AFC North Roundtable powered by BetUS. Week 14 is in the books. Tonight, we turn the page to Week 15. All of the bye weeks are over. We have a full slate of ball. All four teams in the division play this weekend, and we got some doozies on the schedule coming up here at Week 15. So let's dive into it with the boys. Let's bring them in. Sam, Zay, Mark, and Zim. Fellas, good to have you entering into Week 15. It's bittersweet. We got a great slate, but man, this season, I feel like I say it every year, but holy moly, this one cruised by. We're already in mid-December here in Week 15, and things are really tightening up. Let's get into BetUS to take a look at the lines for this upcoming weekend. And we're going to start in the 1 p.m. window, and we'll go ahead and start with the Baltimore Ravens coming off a bye. And I misspoke on the last episode. The Ravens were 15-point favorites last I looked. Folks, they are 16.5-point favorites against the New York Giants on the road. This is unprecedented. This is the equivalent of literally Alabama in its prime with Saban playing against my high school football team. That's the type of line you're seeing here on BetUS. Unprecedented type territory. They are 16.5-point favorites right now. 100 on the Giants to win the game outright would win you nearly $1,000. That's how big of a favorite right now the Ravens are to win the ball game. If you got some big stones on you and want to maybe take those Giants or any of the other games we talk about or any of the Week 15 games in general on BetUS, use the promo code YouTube150, and that'll get you a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit and 125% bonus on your next two after that. Got a feeling we're going to cruise through the predictions on this game, fellas. I guess the better question is whether or not the Giants are going to cover that monstrous spread. Mark, I'll start with you. What do you think goes down in East Rutherford on Sunday?
Just to get out of the way, Ravens are going to win. However, for the next 2 minutes of my speech, it would be hilarious to see them lose in this game. Hilarious, right? The Giants, I just went to their stats too, and I'm going to go to what the strengths are for the Ravens are Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, all those guys. Rushing the football or allowing the football for the Giants is 141 yards per game. That's not bad. Like, that's bad for them, but it's good for the Ravens, right? So, and I don't even know who's the quarterback. Tommy DeVito? Is it Danny DeVito's son?
Mark, I think you might as well go out there with this spread. I don't know if it would really make much of a difference.
I don't know. Like, I'm thinking, like, I'll waste $50. Like, when I bet in my country, in like, I don't know what you guys do, the plus 1,000 or whatever it is. In my normal language, it's like $7. So I'll waste $50 for a laugh. But this should be a game the Ravens come out of the bye, take care of business, and, not get too overconfident. Like we said, they're all human football players, all those kind of things. They want to win the game. But what are the Giants playing for right now? I don't know if any fans going to show up to the Giants Stadium, like besides the diehards.
You'd really have to dig deep to find some reason to go to that one.
Maybe Lamar Jackson fans turn up. Maybe the Ravens travel. Like, I think this is the game that they just get back to business from the bye. Ravens keep in it. But if they were to lose this one in a sneaky, silly way, like I said with Justin Tucker the other week, that could happen. But I don't see them losing the game at all. Plus 16 is crazy. Like, I think you take the points really for the Giants to keep it in. But at the same time, could the Ravens go out there and John Harbaugh, he's known to run up scores up. He'll beat them by 25, 30, 40 points. He doesn't care. Oh, yeah. So like, he'll do it.
The question is, Mark, which side of the coin here is going to make it into the multi? Giants plus 16.5 or Ravens winning in a blowout?
One of my multis is for about $50,000 because I got about 10 games in it. And I put in the head-to-head the $7 or your plus, whatever you call it, right? Yeah. So it's in there. So dude, I could be living in, because I'm going to Pittsburgh next week. I could be in the penthouse next if this happens, right? So Giants will lose this game. It just depends how many fumbles, how many interceptions, how many TDs will Lamar Jackson score? Will he get himself back into the MVP race with the Bills? I think that's what they're trying to go for.
Mark will be sitting up with the Roonies if he winds up hitting on BetUS. That'll be interesting to see. Zay, speaking of multis, who's going in on this side of things on your end? Is it going to be the the Ravens getting it done in crazy dominant fashion, or do the Giants find a way to keep it within 17?
I feel like they keep it within 17 only because they played Pittsburgh well. They beat us. I mean, hey, I don't know. Maybe there's something there. And guess what? They're in MetLife. MetLife Stadium is a player itself. So yeah. Lamar Jackson's mother's talking about doing all this running. Lamar, pump your brakes a little bit. You might not need to do it against these guys. Let's save you into the postseason. Okay, MetLife Stadium is gruesome. All right. Come out of there healthy. But I don't know, 16.5 points, man. They must know something we don't. Because if that's the case, I'm thinking of like a 42-7 score. And that would be crazy. And guess what? I'm going against Derrick Henry in one of my fantasy leagues this week. So let's please cover. Give me the Giants 16.5.
The crazy thing about that spread is the Ravens can be up 24 going into the fourth quarter, and all it would take is a backdoor last-minute TD, and you cover it. So if I'm Brian Dable, all I do all week long for motivation, fellas, I just put that spread up on the whiteboard and say, this is what they think of you. Can you keep it within, a couple of scores here? Zim, do you think they can keep it within a couple of scores?
I do. It's tough, though. I don't know. I mean...
He can't even see his straight face.
Hard.
Why do you say that?
Because I couldn't either.
I do. I don't know. I'm gonna go with my gut on this one. I do think it's a little closer than what people think.
But Ravens W nonetheless.
Ravens W, but I think up until a couple of weeks ago, the Giants were the only NFC team that had ever beat Lamar Jackson. So I don't think there's anything there anymore. Most of those guys are all gone now. That one with Daniel Jones and all that. But I think the Giants do have a tendency to kind of like knuck up on some games, and they're not as terrible on defense. It's the offense that's like problematic, and I don't know. Yeah, like it's a very dysfunctional team. Like the Ravens are gonna win, but I don't know. I think it's closer. I don't think that they cover the 15.
Sam, did they cover? Is it going to be a blowout?
Yeah, it's going to be a blowout. I mean, I'm not even. This is the easiest thing ever. I was going to. At first, I think it was 14 at one point, and I was thinking of pushing it up to 21 just to get a little bit extra in the alternative spread. But yeah, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to waste too much of your time here. This is the Ravens. If the Ravens had won against the Eagles, had the bye week, maybe I would have considered perhaps doing it. But they're pissed. They are pissed after that game, and I just don't see it. And Mark mentioned the run defense being what it is. Tommy DeVito is in fact going to start. I don't think what's his face even practiced today. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but yeah, the quarterback prior, he's not playing.
Lock.
So yeah, Drew Lock.
He's in a boot.
Yeah, dealing with the elbow injury too. So it's Tommy DeVito and Malik Neighbors that the Ravens have to worry about, and not much else outside of that. So yeah, I think the Ravens cover here. Don't bet on the spread against the Ravens on this one because that's how Vegas gets you. Give me the Ravens.
Can I be legit? How do the New York Giants beat them?
Malik
Like,
Neighbors.
what do they have to do?
And Tracy had a couple good games, I think, on the run game. Like
So,
it'll be one of those games where
Check
it's any given
down to
Sunday.
Tracy.
No, it'll be one of them games where DeVito coming out and he's cooking lasagna. It's gonna be one of them. That's the only way. That's the only way. If not,
And zero turnovers. You know what I mean?
yeah.
The last time a team that was favored this high went on the road and lost outright. 2021, the Buffalo Bills against the Jacksonville Jaguars. 15-point favorites. They lose to Urban Meyer. To this day, I will never live that win down. It's the only win worth a single damn that Urban Meyer had and will ever have in the league. So that's the last time. It would take a Herculean effort.
You know what's gonna be funny, Sam? I don't want to throw this into the air, but I'm throwing it into the air. I guarantee you, Justin Tucker is gonna come out and miss this first field goal. And it's gonna strike so much fear in the Ravens fans, and then Lamar Jackson gonna go for like 5 touchdowns. But for the whole week, the only thing y'all gonna think about is Justin Tucker.
100%.
It'll get mass. That's what's gonna happen. I guarantee it.
Let's stay in the 1 p.m. window. I cannot wait for this game, fellas. There's just something about it. I got a weird gut feeling about it. I don't know why, but it's the Browns hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. And right now, the Browns are a 4-point home dog. It's not what you might think because, of course, the Kansas City Chiefs have one loss in their last 30 games. The Browns, of course, have only a couple wins on the season, but they're only a 4-point dog in this one. And the key to me is the offense of the Browns against the defense of the Chiefs, because I don't know where the Chiefs are going to get 25-plus points against Cleveland, but can Jameis run the scoreboard up? That's going to be the question. Right now, 4-point dogs are the Browns, rather, at home against the Chiefs. So, Sam, I'll go back to you here. What ends up happening in this one? Because I think it's a little bit more interesting than might meet the eye.
The Browns win. I mean, the Browns are definitely built to beat the Chiefs. I think their front four can make things interesting for Patrick Mahomes, force him to make mistakes. You know how Patrick Mahomes when he gets pressure on him, he likes to count on his arm a little bit too much. caused that turnover. It's going to be up to Jameis Winston. Can you prevent? Give me one interception. Fine. Even the pick six, that's fine, but not much else outside of that. I like the Browns defense against this Chiefs offense. If this was 2 years ago, I'd say no way, but Travis Kelce isn't quite himself anymore. He doesn't have a lot of receivers to work with. Patrick Mahomes is taking a step back. I just like the Browns in this one a lot. Give me the Browns in this one. It's in Cleveland?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Give me the Browns for sure. Upset.
Mark, Chiefs, Browns, what goes down?
I actually think the Browns can win too. And I don't know. I don't think that Nick Chubb has been, that great coming back from injury, but injury is injury, right? I kind of like what Ford is doing as well. He played well against us. So this is a game that as long as the refs don't call something really stupid in the fourth quarter or something super crazy where it's like, they change the play like against the Raiders or they're getting away with a field goal, the Chiefs can definitely be beaten. I think that the Browns can win this game as well. But they just got. I think also they're probably the more physical football team in that sense. Playing at home, they did it with our Steelers. Took care of business in the snow. Another one where they're saying the Chiefs are the best team. Browns fans will fire up. I think the running game's on fire. I think the defense can get after Mahomes and obviously tackle him hard enough, but not hard enough to throw a flag. Or if Mahomes does a flop and the flag comes out, I think the Browns can win this game by 4 or 5 points, like legit. And that's crazy to say being a 3-10 team. But it's one of those ones where it's like all the disrespect going towards the Browns and the Chiefs are sneaking by. The Chiefs have to lose one at some stage, right? The way they're playing. I got a lot of shit talking about Steelers 2020, and I see it now because we lost to the Commanders or the football team, whoever they were, and we were 11-0, and it all kind of fell apart and crumbled, right? So I feel like the Chiefs are going to do the same thing, and the Browns is going maybe it'd be different in KC, but going into Cleveland, I think they have the advantage, and that's why the betting mark is like what $2.45 or something like that in my Australian language. So maybe it should be around $3 or $4 because they're like a bad team, but they're not. They can play the Chiefs. They can win this game. Definitely can. I say win by 5 points.
Zim, how do you see it going down? This is crazy.
Please talk some sense into these dudes, Zim.
I'm the only Chiefer today, huh?
Yeah, you are.
That's disgusting. I hate the Chiefs. Yes, the Browns secondary can give the pedestrian, slower wide receivers of the Chiefs problems, but I don't think you're factoring in how good the Chiefs defense is. And I think the Chiefs defense is much better than what people are thinking. And I don't think Jameis Winston can do anything with it. I don't believe in the running attack of the Browns consistently to go win like a 4-quarter game against the Chiefs. Like, I just don't see it unless something crazy happens at the beginning of the game and then Jameis Winston like gets into like a crazy rhythm. If it's a tough game, Chiefs gonna make them make a mistake. And it's going to be like all the other Chiefs games. They're just going to win at the buzzer like they always do. So I got the Chiefs by 3 points.
Zay, talk to me. What happens?
Listen, man. Y'all doing all of this. Oh, Browns. Listen, if Dustin Hopkins can't make a 37-yard kick, brother, we don't have a shot in Hades, okay? We can be in Hades with him, right? It's not happening, okay? You want to talk about you can't find out how they put up these points? Z, you want me to tell you how to put up these points? Kareem Hunt's coming back home. Oh, he gonna eat. He might have a 2 touchdown. You might want to throw that in your multi. You want to talk about what is it? The second anything bad happens on this team, listen, you said Jameis Winston can throw an intercept. Not this game. Absolutely not. Not against the Chiefs. Not against Andy Reid. You think Xavier Worthy not going to have a roundabout for 40 yards? Listen, this team is not the same team that it was last year. I don't understand how we win this game. It's going to be because of Bob. I think the rest might be on our side this week if we win this game because there's no way. I just don't think the Browns are at that mentally in a spot where unless Jameis Winston throws for 500 yards again, that is our only shot at this. I'm not putting it at the hands of the defense. I'm not putting it in the run game. I'm not putting it in Ken Dorsey calling the plays. If Jameis Winston cannot put this team on his back, there is no shot, and I don't even know why 4.5 and plus 180 is a thing. So, for the homer's sake, give me the
hell.
Give me the Browns. Okay? For homer's sake, give me the Browns. But if I'm being real with you, Kareem Hunt is going to I single-handedly probably win this game.
Can I tell you that I am rooting for the Browns because I do want you to win a bunch of games outside of like bragging rights against us.
You want the draft pick.
See, you boys ain't. I don't know how long y'all boys been in the North. You don't need these Brownies getting the opportunity to put Mason Graham next to Myles Garrett. You don't need them getting the opportunity at one of the premium quarterbacks at the beginning. So we 100% need the Browns to win. I just need to state that for all of our sake.
Listen, here's what you better hope. We did all this talk about hard knocks and stuff and coaches. If the league can find a way to bring Deion Sanders into the AFC North, I promise you, it's gonna be over for y'all. Don't let him. I know it's not happening, but I'm gonna speak something into existence. Do not let primetime get into Cleveland. It's gonna be hell to pay on for everybody in the division.
You know the crazy thing is, I think he will be so crazy and so dope as a D coordinator or something for the Ravens. I feel like his personality, the swag of like Wiggins and like all of them dudes, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think for Zay, I gotta take a couple shots. For your dysfunctional organization, you don't need a wild card like Deion Sanders coming in.
You do though.
It's gonna split the Baker Mayfield stuff that y'all had before. You're gonna have a Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese situation right now.
But guess what though? He results to winning though. You know what I'm saying? Like exactly what Mike Tomlin does, how he talked about that swag that he walks through and all of that things. Talking about Joey, you ain't made it yet. I think back to the year Ben Roethlisberger retired and he came in the locker room with all black forces, was like, this is what it is. Came out and punched people in the mouth. Deion has that type of
you have
moxie.
to win. You have to win first to say that, and you have to win and do that before you can walk in front of
his track record speaks though. So I think that's what I'm basing it off of. His track record speaks, and yeah, it's on a different level. It's not the NFL. I get that. But his track record is what it is. You can only do what's put in front of you.
Okay.
It'll be interesting. I think the whole world, though, is rooting for Cleveland outside of the Kansas City area in this upcoming game on Sunday. Let's stay in the 1 p.m. window. Let's talk about the Bengals taking on the Tennessee Titans. Right now, the Bengals are a 5-point road favorite against Tennessee in that one. Sam, I'll start with you. Who gets it done, Cincy or Tennessee?
Cincy got this. I think my only concern is that maybe they have a letdown, perhaps, but it's the Cowboys that they beat, so I don't see it happen. I think the Bengals are the better football team, and they get the job done on the road.
Mark, thoughts on that one?
Yeah, it's very similar. I think the Bengals also win this game too. Tennessee Titans are a 3-10 team. I don't know if they're playing Mason Rudolph or the other guy eats mayonnaise or whatever he does in his coffee, which is disgusting. Still don't believe that's a thing. So I couldn't even tell you half the players are in Tennessee. I have fucking no idea. Like, they're one of the teams that I've just not watched this season. They used to be fun with Derrick Henry to watch. Used to be some kind of like lure to them. I think they're just like another average team that is just going for draft picks. To me, there's no real identity around them. And I don't know if there's any, Tennessee Titan fans lurking in the chat, but who do you really have on the offense or the defense that says, like, that's that guy? I think Bengals get it done. And now Bengals, that 4% chance, if other teams lose or whatever happens, could be a 5%, 7% chance going in the playoffs. So Bengals should get this game done, coming off that victory with Jamar Chase and these guys put up numbers and Burrow. Like I said, it's going to be a scary team in the playoffs if all the dominoes fall, but we need a lot of things to happen. That's like Dolphins losing or Colts. Colts are versing the Broncos, so I need one of those teams to lose or whatever. I don't even know if you got the chalkboard out and you mapped it out yet, but maybe it's too early.
Colts play the Broncos.
Yeah.
So one of them about to lose right now.
Right. And if the Ravens lose to the New York Giants and everything's haywire, right? So which won't happen. But no, I think the Bengals win this game, man. I think the Bengals are a good side, and they probably win the game they're winning by 14, 20 points, something like that. Maybe a game where it's not coming down to the wire, maybe. But I don't know what the Tennessee Titans are not going to shock me. I think Bengals win.
Zay, did the Bengals keep that 4% chance alive on Sunday?
Zim, I'm surprised. I know you're a level-headed fan, so I understand why you're looking forward to the draft to try to enhance your team, but you can't tell me this doesn't have Bengals run the table written all over it. Getting your hopes up. It just feels like the way Joe Burrow is playing. We've been sitting here every single week and we're like, oh, they're going to figure it out. They're going to figure it out. Then they peel off 3 losses in a row. This has Bengals running, and I know my Browns are on that schedule. Me saying that is wild, but it seems like Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, like you said, Zim, they going for this crown. If anything, they going to go out winning doing it. They not going to lose and do it. If they want to win it, they got to win. So I think the Bengals will do this easily, and I think we're talking about that to be determined game on the 1st of January being one of those instant classic games with, the Bengals have a chance to do this. Now they'll be sitting at the end of the game cheering on whoever they need to lose. So give me the Bengals and the points. I think it's probably a blowout.
Yeah, Zim, you said that there's potential for these Bengals to run the table. That starts Sunday, so I'm assuming you think they get it done.
Yeah, I do. Absolutely. I think it's a familiar. Remember, their head coach is our last OC and Brian Callahan. So the familiarity is there. He's already said he thinks Joe Burrow's going to win a gold jacket. As we're recording this show, I'm not going to lie to you. There's a lot going on with Joe Burrow at the presser and putting the pressure on the front office to sign T. Higgins. This thing is getting pretty crazy, like how everybody's assumed that he's going to be a free agent. So my mind is a little bit in that realm because to me, that's very important to our fan base is getting both of those guys back when everybody told us that we wouldn't, just like they told us that Joe Burrow wouldn't play because of his wrist. But I think after we lost to Mark, I just was like, mathematically, it's not really, you know what I'm saying? You don't really have that. You're relying on too much. I don't like relying on people.
Yeah.
So that's like my personality. Like if I need help from somebody else, I'm just not that guy. Like that's why I'm just like, I don't know. Like maybe they do. I do think the Bengals control what they control. You're gonna see. I think that they'll win the rest of the games. I think that they win this game by 10+ points.
Let's go to the 4:25 p.m. window for one of the games of the day. The Battle of Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh Steelers heading out to Philadelphia as a 5.5-point dog. Maybe a little bit of disrespect thrown into that line for these Pittsburgh Steelers. That's going to be a huge game. Cannot wait to watch this one. Sam, who takes it in this huge matchup between Pittsburgh and Philly?
I have been on the fence about this for the last couple of days as I've previewed this. It's interesting. The Eagles' offense isn't as great as people make it out to be. They do have Saquon Barkley, and that plays into what the Steelers are able to do defensively. Jalen Hurts hasn't played exceptionally well. On the other side, you have the Steelers who have really clicked on offense a little bit. I know Russell Wilson hasn't had the offensive output that many have seen from the other guys like Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson, but he's still been able to game manage. I really need the Eagles to win this game. Something tells me that the Steelers get this done. I don't know what it is. I think I trust Mike Tomlin as a head coach more than Nick Sirianni to get it, to be honest. And I think that they'll find ways. I think the major difference between these two teams is the Eagles rush the passer very well from the interior, and the Steelers do well on the outside edge with TJ Watt to get it done. So I want the Eagles to win. Don't get me wrong. I want the Eagles to win. Something tells me the Steelers do get it done, though.
Zay, your thoughts? Who takes it, Steelers or Philly?
I don't know. This should be a really good game. I think if you get the performance that you got from Russell Wilson against us, they don't have a chance. But I think that's what it will come down to is Russell Wilson ultimately. And if George Pickens decides to lace it up this week, you got to have some firepower going against this Philly team. And, with A.J. Brown coming out in the press conference talking about passing needs to get better, and then Jalen Hurts saying, there was no confusion, and they're back. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to put an emphasis on probably passing this week. Joey Porter's probably going to be a focus and a target. So I think this is going to be more so of a chess match between coaches and what coach do you trust more, right? I don't want to pick the Steelers, but damn, they got to put some pressure on this race, man. And seeing them me, hey, I always look at the point spread when it comes to these dumb Steelers. What was the spread?
5.5.
That seems borderline like disrespect when a team is 10-3 right now and they are beating teams when they're not supposed to. So give me the Steelers on the road. They're on TV. They understand. Mike Tomlin has all these players understanding the moment. They locked in, man. Give me the Steelers.
Zim, thoughts on this big matchup in Pennsylvania?
I'm going. I'm going. I want to go Eagles. I'm going to go Eagles on this one. I feel like the Steelers haven't. Sam has been saying it every week about they ain't played nobody. This is the you ain't played nobody bowl right here. This is your first real. Yeah. Out of all the teams that I've seen the whole entire season,
the big one.
that my team has played, where that this high power offense that everybody talk about that the Bengals got, they made us look regular. We tried to go for it on fourth down, they cooked us. And I've seen them beat people up front. Their offensive line is no joke. Our division has a habit of beating the shit out of people up front. They're the one team on that NFC side that you can't do that with. You gotta be ready to go and rumble. If TJ Watt is who you saying he is, he better do that big time TJ Watt shit early in his game. Because I'm telling you, when them boys start going downhill and Saquon gets out there, you haven't seen an opponent like this. I think the Eagles win this game, and I think they win it comfortably. I don't think that the game is close.
Ooh.
Mark, it's a huge game. What happens?
Huge. If we win this game, I think the Steelers should be Super Bowl contenders or in conversation. I think this is like one of the big ones.
Absolutely.
To that point, we haven't played anyone yet, but this is the one that, this is like Steelers versus Eagles. The Eagles have won like eight games in a row. A few things though. The Steelers haven't won in Philadelphia since 1965. That just hasn't happened in a very long time, and we play them every 4 years or every 8 years in Philly. Mike Tomlin's record, and Zay does bring it up every single time. And there's facts behind it. Steelers are 5-0 as underdogs this season, and they've won 7 straight games outright as underdogs dating back to last season. That is the Mike Tomlin effect. You know, people say he plays down to opponents and can't win those games. But where's the credit due when he's an underdog and he's 7-0 in a row, right? So he's crazy like that. Also, Mike Tomlin, I read this on my Twitter that I reposted. Mike Tomlin is 60, 32-3 against the spread in his career as an underdog. The Eagles are 4.5 favorites. So these are the ones where I'm looking forward to if we beat the Eagles, and I think that they're a very talented side. I think Jalen Hurts, I saw a video on Twitter that the fan base was going up at Jalen Hurts because he didn't beat the Panthers by enough, you know? I thought my Steelers fans are crazy. The fans out there in Philly, they're extra crazy. They're trying to get rid of Jalen Hurts, who's a really good quarterback. How do we stop Barkley is the key. He's averaging 120 yards per game, and he's like, 1,600 or 1,400 yards in the season? Like, he's on fire. How do we stop him? If the Steelers can stop him and make it into a close game, we could see a field goal game, and we win it inside Philly. But this would definitely wake up the whole NFL and say, the Steelers are contenders or Super Bowl contenders, because people are talking about the Chiefs, so they're going to go to Super Bowl this year, but they're just sneaking away. This is a tough game. Like, as long as my team plays competitively and does not crap the bed and lose by 41 points, I'll be pretty good with it, because another big test is a few days later versus the Ravens to win the division. But this could be one that the Steelers versus Eagles is like, oh my goodness, the Steelers just beat them by 7 or beat them by 3. And I don't want to hear any Mike Tomlin fire crowd if we lose this game. They're a very competitive side. They're a very good side. They have Barkley. They're moving things. You win 9 games in a row, you're a good side for a reason. They've won the division. So this is one where I think the Steelers, I have to go with my team because I feel like it can happen. I'm looking forward to Hard Knocks the week after. I'm going to say Steelers we'll say by 4 points. We have the lead. They're going to come back. And the Eagles have to go for a TD, and we see what happens.
Huge game. It's a huge game, Mark. I can't wait for it. I wish it wasn't on the same time the Bills and the Lions are, because that's must-see TV. But I cannot wait to recap that game and all the games within the division with you fellas next week on the Week 15 recap episode. In order to be reminded of that episode and all upcoming episodes, make sure to hit the subscribe button on your way out the door. Also hit that like button on the way out the door if you could be so kind. Also, on BetUS, the promo code is YouTube150. That'll get you a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit, and 125% bonus on your next 2 after that. For Sam, Zay, Zim, and Mark, I'm your host, Z-Bot. Thanks so much for tuning into the AFC North Roundtable, and we'll see you on the next one.